this video is a little overdue. What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. Today's video is going to be completely focused on Victoria Beckham Beauty. You all have been asking for this video for months now, and finally I have a nice roundup for you guys. I'm going to be going through every single product that I have from this brand and letting you know, what do I think is worth it? What do I think is less worth it? I know that the holidays are here. Her Black Friday sale is probably going to be dropping any moment now, and I want you all to be prepared and know how you're gonna spend your coin, because these products are expensive and they're incredibly giftable. So if you guys are interested in hearing all of my thoughts and recommendations, then keep watching. And if this happens to be your first time here, then welcome. My name is Sophia, and this is my channel where we talk about all things beauty and luxury. I upload content every single week on all the newest luxury beauty releases. So if you love luxury beauty, fashion, and lifestyle, then you're in the right place, my friend. Hit that subscribe button to join our fam, and you can also click the notification bell to hear about every time I upload a new video. If you like this style of video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. It really helps me out. And as always, I'll be linking everything that I mentioned in this video and anything else that is on my face today in that description box down below. Most of my links are affiliate links, so if you guys are shopping this holiday season and you want to support my channel, shopping through those links is a really great way to do so at no additional cost to you. Okay, party people, let's get into these mini reviews. When I sat down and thought about how I wanted to structure this video, I was thinking, you know, maybe I should do a ranking. Should I do 5 best, 5 worst? And what I decided is to just kind of show you guys how I do a full face with these products while doing mini reviews of each. Because the fact of the matter is that it doesn't really make sense to do a ranking of these products because none of these products are objectively bad. I feel like Victoria Beckham, she's extremely thoughtful in all of her releases. She doesn't release new products every single week. I feel like all of her releases are very thought through. They're very intentional. Her line is very minimal. If you guys aren't familiar with her brand, it's very chic. It's very sophisticated, like Victoria Beckham. And all of the beauty is what she would call clean beauty. I know that means different things to different people. And all of the products, like I said, very sleek, very kind of minimalistic, very sophisticated. Even the packaging is exquisite, and we definitely see that in the prices. And while so far I don't think any of her products are bad, I definitely think that some stand above the rest. So I want to let you guys know what those are. So I'm going to go through all of the products in the order that I apply them to my face. I'll show you guys some clips. We'll take a look at some swatches. We'll take a look at some close-ups. I'll let you guys know how I like to use these, and then I'll let you know, do I think it's holy grail or do I think it's just okay? So let's get into it. We're starting off strong here, my friends, because the first product that we have to talk about are the matte bronzing bricks. These are obviously bronzers. They are bronze duos. I'll show you one of the shades that I have right here. I have the shades 01 and 02. I will show you swatches of those in just a second. But before we do that, can we just admire this absolutely stunning, impeccable packaging? One of my favorite components of all time in my entire makeup collection. It's so weighty, it's so luxe. It's made out of, I think this is metal. It feels like a little mini paperweight. It's not super travel friendly, but the packaging is impeccable. You have this sort of, oh, it matches my nails. It has this really beautiful sort of tortoise shell design, which you're gonna see in a lot of the packaging today. It is absolutely exceptional. And like the name would suggest, these are completely matte. So if you're somebody that likes a little bit more of like a glowy bronzer, you know, maybe like the Wayne Goss Radiance powder, that's more of a glowy effect. These are gonna be completely matte. It's gonna be more like, I would say the closest comparison is probably the Gucci bronzer if we're looking for something that's close. And I'll just cut to the chase here. These are so good. They're good. A lot of you have asked me, are these worth it? Should I get it? Because these retail, let me look at my notes here, these retail for $58. $58. So they're pretty expensive, but they're also refillable. So you can get the refill for $42. So you save a little bit of money on the refill. Honestly, this is gonna last you a pretty long time. You can definitely see that I've dug into each of these pans. They're very well loved, but I'm not finishing this anytime soon. Like, this is gonna take me a ton of time to use up. The formula of these It's very smooth and finely milled, but not so much so that if you're wearing a glowy foundation like I am today, that it's gonna get patchy and stuck to the skin. You know, when you go in with like that first little bit of bronzer or powder and you get that dreaded like patch in the middle of your forehead, you don't get that with these. They're extremely blendable. They're very user friendly. I love recommending these to people because I just know that they're going to be impressed when they try these. Like, this is luxury beauty. Everything from the packaging, obviously the price, but also the formula. Like, these really do live up to the hype. Now, I think the hardest part here is just finding the right color for yourself. I really was not sure. And so I want to show you guys a quick comparison of the two shades that I have. A lot of you guys have been requesting this. So I'm going to show you guys here just a side by side of the two lightest shades. So I have the shade 01 and also the shade 02. You all will notice that shade 01 is incredibly light. It's very, very light. So light where you kind of question whether that lightest shade is a bronzer, because the way that these are laid out is that, you know, you kind of get one shade that is a little bit lighter, a little bit cooler in tone. So we're not telling you how to use this, but you could use that as a contour shade. And then the other shade is supposed to be a little bit deeper if you want to warm up the skin a little bit and kind of take your complexion a step further. I'll show you some side-by-side swatches here as well. The 01 shade, I think you need to be really careful if you are my complexion. I really don't like to use this as a bronzer. You can barely even see the lightest shade there in my skin tone because it's more like a pressed powder. In fact, let me kind of walk you guys through how I like to use these. And if you have a deeper skin tone, fear not. Hopefully this will kind of help you understand how you might be able to use these and also how they apply to the skin. So the first thing that I like to do is actually go in with the shade 02. If I had to only buy one, I would buy this because these are more so my bronzer shades. I first like to go in with the lighter shade and just buff that all over the face. Kind of get a good base bronze in the places where the sun would kind of naturally bronze my skin, you know, if I were able to get tan. Then I like to go in with a deeper, slightly warmer shade with a smaller brush. And I just add a little extra warmth just in the places where if I did get tan or if I got a sunburn, anything like that, but I'm not because I'm wearing my sunscreen, that's where the sun would hit. So I feel like it's easy to create a really beautiful natural look. Now with the 01, for me, at least for my skin tone, and I'm usually one of the lightest on the foundation scale, just so you guys know, I like to use this as a contour palette because this is much more cool toned. So I will go in with a deeper shade and I'll use a little angled brush and I'll just put that in the hollows of the cheeks. It is definitely cooler, so this is better to use for contour. And then for the lighter shade, I like to use this for blending out eyeshadow, kind of just blending in the bronzer that I just went in with, especially like around the eye area if you have a really brightening concealer and you just want to sort of blend the bronzer into the rest of your face. Or in the case that you got any patchiness, just kind of depending on the brush you decided to use, you can use that lighter color for blending. But yeah, this is more of like a shade and illuminate contour style of palette. For me, I use it more for adding highlights, dimensions, blending, whereas the 02, that's the one I use when I actually want to go in with a bronzer. So bottom line for the matte bronzing brick, this is one of my favorite bronzers in my collection, especially if I want more of a natural matte look. In fact, a bunch of you guys noticed that in my Paris trip vlog, you noticed that I brought this in my travel makeup bag, and that's saying something because this ain't travel friendly. Like I said, this is a little paperweight and I still couldn't live without it. So I had to bring it with me on that trip, especially if you have oily skin. I don't, I have dry skin, but I think if you have oily skin, you're especially gonna like this as well because it's gonna mattify your face. I would just say, pay attention to the undertones for the different colors that they have on the site. And if you are super fair, consider getting shade 02 unless you want a very cool tone bronzer that's like borderline a contour. I know I spent a lot of time on that first one. Trust me, I will be more concise with the others, but I really wanted to show you guys those swatches and also how I use the different shades that are within the palettes. The next product that I want to talk about is the Cheeky Posh blush. These retail for $42 and these are essentially cream blush sticks. Now, I think my thoughts on these are that they're all right. Like, they're good, they're beautiful. I have the shade Playground, which is a beautiful nude. Surprise, surprise. A lot of the shades that I picked out for this video, they are more natural because I wanted to go for shades that I knew I would gravitate towards a lot. And I do like this blush. I don't have too many issues with it. I think it goes on very easily. I think the biggest thing here is that, number one, you don't really get that much product for the price. And also, I don't feel like these have the best longevity. In addition to that, I think that there are a lot of other options out there that are just as good as this. I happily use my Nude Sticks Nudies ones. Also, I think the ones from ColourPop are pretty good as well. I also really like the ones from Westman Atelier. If you're looking for something that's kind of in the same category of like super luxury, clean beauty, beautiful packaging, I think that I like those a little bit better. I think for whatever reason, they just feel a little bit more velvety on the skin. That being said, these aren't bad. They just wouldn't be my number one pick. I think that the shades, obviously, it's Victoria Beckham Beauty. They're very chic. They're very natural looking. I think a lot of people are gonna like them. If you see a shade that you like, get it. But I think I would prefer to get these on sale. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be buying any more of these. Maybe if there's a shade that I really, really like, I will give it a try, maybe a brighter shade. But yeah, they just don't really last all too long, and while they're good, I don't think they're super duper special for the price. Next up, we have the Victoria Beckham Lid Lusters. I do not have any of her little eyeshadow palettes, but I do have one of these, and I have it in the shade Blonde. A lot of people, especially those that love that kind of easy one and done kind of eyeshadow look, are totally obsessed with these. And like I've said many times throughout this video already, a lot of the shades that she has are just absolutely stunning. I went with the shade Blonde because I like that really bright, like white, icy type of eyeshadow, but she does it here in a very sophisticated way. The other thing that's very sophisticated, obviously, is the packaging. You have that beautiful tortoise shell kind of lid. It's very weighty. It feels very luxe. I also like the fact that this is a wider pot. So even if you have long talon nails like I do, you can still fit your finger in there. I know it looks like it's not going in, but my finger is actually touching the product. So I find that compared to other eyeshadow singles, these are definitely a little bit easier to use if you're gonna apply them with your finger. That being said, I know I'm being a little bit critical here. I think that these are a little bit overhyped. They are not bad, but when I first used them, my first impression was that they can be a little bit chunky. I do only have this one shade. Comment down below if you feel like there's a differentiation between any of the shades. But when I got this, my thought was not, oh my gosh, I need to have every single color. Like, they're beautiful, but they're also $36, and you can get an entire palette, an entire eyeshadow palette from another very good brand for $36. Or, you know, if you bought two of them, that's $70 for this. You can get a luxury eyeshadow palette for the price of two singles. I'm a little bit biased here because I'm not really a huge single eyeshadow girl. I kind of have a rule for myself now that I don't buy single eyeshadows, but I did buy this one this year because I was just, listen, curiosity killed the cat, and I wanted to know if these were good, and a lot of you guys were asking me if they were good. They can be a little bit chunky. You do get a bit of fallout. You can apply them with a brush, but if you want full impact, I think going in with your finger is the best way to do that. Although sometimes when you go in with your finger, it can be a little bit hard to get super precise. Don't get me wrong, these aren't bad. I think one of the biggest things that makes me like them but not adore them is just the fact that I have other eyeshadow singles that I like a little bit better in my collection. I'll show you guys a comparison here. This was highly requested, and I want to show you what these look like up against a couple of other single eyeshadows that are in my collection. So the swatches that you're seeing right here, first I have the Victoria Beckham one in the shade Blonde, then I have one of the Tarte Chrome Paints in the shade Top Yacht, and then I have one of the Hourglass Scattered Lights in the shade Aura. And I would say my favorite formula is probably the Tarte. I don't know if they're discontinuing these. More and more often I see them on sale or like a lot of the shades selling out. But I like the Tarte ones a little bit better because they give a similar effect, but they go on more smoothly. So I kind of enjoy those more. That being said, if you enjoy clean beauty and that's important to you, then I think the Victoria Beckham ones are a good option. But the Tarte ones, half the time they're on sale for like $13, and I have all of the shades, so I really have no reason for picking up more of the Victoria Beckham. The Hourglass Scatter Light is a little bit different because the base is not as opaque as these ones from Victoria Beckham. They're more of a topper. And then finally, I also have this one from Bodyography. If you guys have heard of this brand, they have really beautiful single eyeshadows as well. And this one, in addition, it's a little bit more sheer than the ones from Victoria Beckham. These are also pretty pricey as well. In general, I think these types of single eyeshadows, they just really aren't great if you're looking for good value, but I totally understand that a lot of you guys, you're more like minimalist. You like how elegant these are. You like how sophisticated they are. You like using your fingers. You're not like a brush person. And so if you're someone where, you know what, you're just good with maybe using the bronzer in the crease and that's kind of your matte shade, and then going in with a couple of these, and that's, you know, that's your makeup collection, then I think that's who these are for. But yeah, comment down below. I know a lot of you guys love these. Let us know which of these shades are your favorite. Do you feel like they're worth the $36? And if not, what single eyeshadows do you like better? Next up, I have a product that I've spoken a lot about on my channel. These are the Satin Kajal liners. These are her beautiful eyeliners. On one side, you get, I always forget which side it is. On one side, you get the pencil, super creamy, super blendable. And then on the other side, you get this really handy little blendy nugget on that side. I actually have a full review of these, swatching every single shade. I know there's been maybe 1 or 2 shades that have released since then. So in this demo today, I am using the shade Olive because that one was not in the original review. This is one of the newer shades that she came out with this year. And it's not really an olive shade, it's more of an emerald, but it's still very beautiful. So I wanted to do a look with it. You guys will know, I like these. These are one of my favorite items from Victoria Beckham Beauty. They're very creamy, they're very blendable. They're great for really soft, elegant, chic, you know, soft liner kinds of looks. I know a lot of you out there with mature skin as well, you feel like these go on really easily around your eyes. They don't skip, they don't tug at the skin. And once again, you like the fact that it comes with a little blender at the end, just so you don't need to grab a brush. They're super easy, they're super effortless. I wanna show you guys some swatches of my 3 favorite colors. So first off, we have the olive shade, and then I love bronze. That's probably the one that I use the most. And then I also love sea gray. I personally like the metallic ones, the ones that have a little bit of shimmer the most, and those are the 3 that I think fit into that category. Now, there are a couple of caveats here that I want to make about these. The first one, and this is my opinion, some of you guys have disagreed with me, I don't think that these are super long lasting. I also don't feel like they stay in the waterline all that much. That being said, that's kind of okay with me because I like to use these for soft, easy, smudgy looks. I don't think that these are the best for like a graphic line. You guys will see I did a very soft, blended little wing, but these are not the kinds of liners that I'm gonna go in with if I want something super crisp and graphic. That's just not what they're designed to do, and that's okay with me. So they're not gonna last super long in the waterline, and they're not gonna give you a super crisp line. So that's the biggest call out that I have there. And then I also have another review. These came out recently in a glitter formula, so I will link that video down below in case you guys want to see specific swatches of that. One of the things I also want to call out as it relates to the finishes is that I have noticed that the matte shades like cocoa, black, Bordeaux, ash, all of those shades, the tip, like the formula within the pencil, is even softer than some of the other shades. And so those shades, some of you have agreed with me on this, they are more prone to having the tip just kind of smush off and pop off. I remember the first time that I used Bordeaux, like I think I sharpened it, or I like went and put it on my lid and the whole little tip just fell off. These are very, very soft. So if you're afraid of that, maybe stick to the more metallic ones. Also, use the sharpener that comes in the package. You have the option of getting a sharpener or no sharpener. If you don't get a sharpener when you buy these, you do save $2. But using that good quality, super sharp, like I think it's made in Germany, the German sharpeners, those make a difference because they're not going to tug and break the formula as you sharpen it. Also, try not sharpening it too much, because then it's going to create a really pointy tip, and that's going to be a little bit more prone to kind of snapping off as you put it on your eye. So those are my tips. I really don't experience it that often, but some of you guys have asked me about that, so I want to give those tips as well. But bottom line, for the Satin Kajal eyeliners, I think these are really nice. I think they're really nice for any of you who are looking for very sophisticated, beautiful go-to eyeliners for soft and smudgy looks. Another product that I think I've featured in some favorites videos in the past is the Victoria Beckham Future Lash Mascara. This is a clean beauty mascara, and typically with those, they're going to be a tubing formula. So that's what we get with this. If you guys are not familiar with tubing mascaras, essentially what they are is something that kind of coats the lash. And don't worry, you still get volume, you still get length. Typically you get a little more length than volume with a tubing mascara. But the great thing about it is that it lasts all day. They're super long lasting. That's what I really like, because I don't know, I just have a lot of problems with mascara kind of rubbing off on my top lid here, because my lashes do tend to be quite long. And then the other great thing about these types of mascaras is that they wash off very, very easily with water. I don't know, especially as I get older, I don't want to be scrubbing my eyes. I don't want to be tugging my skin. My eyes are also quite sensitive. You know, if you have contacts, this is also a great option. That's a little bit about tubing formulas, and that's a really good way to describe this formula. But I think one of the most unique things about this mascara is the brush. I don't have anything like this. Look how tiny this is. I'll kind of hold it up to my eye so you can see just how thin that brush is. It is the thinnest brush that I have in my collection. It's very flexible. It has just a tiny bit of curve so that you can kind of lift the lashes, and it gives them a little bit of curl. I think with tubing formulas as well, I think they do a better job holding the curl, because they kind of, I don't want to say harden, because that makes it sound like your lashes are going to be all crispy and gross, but I feel like it sets and then it doesn't move. Comment down below if you agree with that. The thing is with this mascara is that when you first start using it, you might get a little bit impatient if you are familiar, if you're used to using big bushy brushes, volumizing mascaras that deposit a lot in one stroke. This doesn't do that. This is something that you need to build up. So if you want a really natural look, you can get that. If you want a longer, more fluttery look like I have today, you can get that. I will show you guys the demo so you can kind of see the before and after when I have 2 coats on one eye and nothing on the other eye. You have a lot of control over the look that you get with this. So trust me, you can definitely build this up to more volume and length, but I kind of like the option that I can get something more natural with this if I want. The other thing is that if you have smaller, shorter lashes, maybe they're a little bit more sparse, I think that you get so much more control with this over other types of brushes. Or if you really hate doing your bottom lashes, this is a great bottom lash mascara because it's just so small and thin. I like thin tapered brushes like this. So I think if you have shorter lashes, this is going to give you a little bit more control so that you're not getting a lot of clumping, and you can kind of build it up to your desired thickness and length. Do I think this is worth it? You know, I do. This is $28, so this is actually one of the cheaper products that we're talking about today. It's probably not for everyone. It's for people that love tubing formulas, they love those small brushes, and they like a lot of control when it comes to their lashes. Finally, we're gonna close things out with the 2 lip products that I have from Victoria Beckham Beauty. The first one being her lip definer. These retail for $26. She has a couple of different shades. Most of them are a beautiful array of nude shades. So whether you have lighter tone lips or darker tone lips, you can find something beautiful in there. And then I also noticed on her website, she does have a beautiful red as well. I am wearing the shade 03. So it's kind of like your basic nude. This one is maybe a little bit brown. My lips are quite pigmented, so this is a good color for me, 03. And my thoughts on these, friends, is very similar to the Cheeky Posh blush, which is, it's nice, they're good, the colors are really pretty, but is this like the standout product from her brand? No, I don't think that they are. And here's why, at least this is kind of my personal preference. These are good if you want something super soft, super blendy. They just blend across the lips really beautifully. They are really nice pencils, but at the end of the day, these aren't very long lasting. And I'm pretty critical when it comes to lip liners because my ride or dies are the Charlotte Tilbury and the Pat McGrath because I love how long lasting they are. Most of the time when I'm using a lip liner, I really want them to stay in place because it's really locking in my lipstick, or I'm using these basically as a lipstick, just kind of drawing them all over the lips, and then maybe I'll put a little bit of gloss or a little bit of like a satin lipstick just kind of in the center to blend it out. I'm looking for a lot of longevity. So if you're looking for longevity, I don't necessarily think this is it. I'll show you guys a clip here of me applying this to my hand, and I'll sort of show you just how blendy these are. And then I'm gonna show you another clip where I have a swatch and I let it sit for maybe 10 minutes or so. So this should be set, and you'll see it's still very blendy even after a couple of minutes. If you guys are trying the Pat McGrath, the Charlotte Tilbury, or even the Lisa Eldridge, I would consider her pencils to be in the same category. When you apply them, they're very soft and blendable, but after a couple minutes, they set down. So that is my preference. Whenever I get pencils like these, I always do that little swatch test. If you're ever in Sephora or anything like that and you want to test out either an eyeliner or a lip pencil, that's the little test that I like to do. And I kind of learned that from Lisa Eldridge, actually. I saw her do something similar in one of her videos. That's my general opinion of these. They're lovely. They're not bad. Like I said, there's nothing bad here in this video, but these wouldn't be my top recommendation, definitely. And lastly, to close out all the products that I own, we have the Posh lipsticks. These retail for $38, so they are quite expensive. And I have the shade Spice. Are we surprised I got the brownie nude shade? And these are another one of those products where I'm like, they're good, but they're not my favorite. This is not my favorite nude lipstick that I have in my collection. I think that the formula, you know, it's very creamy. I think that's why a lot of people like this formula. It's very creamy, easy to apply. It's very blendable, very similar to a lot of the other products that she has in her collection. You can see here on the swatch on my hand, they're not super opaque. So, you know, they're very foolproof. They're easy to apply. I would say the closest formula that I can think of that is comparable to this is probably those Wayne Goss cream lipsticks, except those are, I think, a little bit more pigmented and you get double the product. With these, you get only 2 grams, so you're really not getting that much product for the price that you're paying, $38. Pretty expensive. With the Wayne Goss ones, you are getting 4 grams. So if I were to choose between them, I would probably go for the Wayne Goss. But that being said, you know, both people, they have different colors in their lineups. Just something that I want to mention because these aren't bad. Again, they're not bad, but they're just not my favorite. I would definitely be open to trying maybe one of the deeper colors, maybe more of like a berry shade, because I kind of feel like this color, it looks good, but it's, I don't know, sometimes, especially after an hour or so, it kind of just looks like it's sitting on top of my lips as opposed to really blending in. I don't know how to describe it. Like, see how it's kind of pulling away from my lips? I just feel like it's kind of sitting on top and it's not blending in, and maybe it's just the shade that I have. So yeah, these don't really blow my mind. They're nice lipsticks. I just feel like you can kind of get better value for money elsewhere. They wouldn't really be my top pick. I know a lot of you guys like them, so I'm interested in hearing your thoughts down below. The other lipsticks that I think would be a good alternative to this, if you're like me and you like something that is either very glossy or more pigmented, would be the Rose Ink lipsticks. I think she has a lot of really lovely similar comparable shades in her lineup, but you're getting something a little bit more pigmented, and they're not as satin, they're not as sheer. They have a little bit more of like a soft, matte, natural touch to them. So all that being said, I want to tell you guys my top 3 products, and you probably can guess what they are out of the entire Victoria Beckham lineup. If you were a friend, or if you were to ask me, hey Sophia, like, what should I get from this sale? What do you think is worth it? What should I spend my money on? Because I can only pick up 1 or 2 things. I would say number 1, the bronzing bricks. If you can find a shade that suits you, I would pick that up first. The packaging is stunning and the formula is amazing. It's one of my favorites in my collections, especially as it relates to powder bronzers. The second would probably be the mascara. I really do like the mascara. I enjoy it. Like I said, I don't have a wand like that in my collection that also is a tubing formula. For me, it's definitely in the top 3, and it's unique enough that I'm always going to go back to Victoria Beckham to buy that product. And then the third one would be the Satin Kajal liners. I know I told you guys a couple of caveats, you know, it's more for blendable, soft, wearable looks, but I think that's what a lot of you guys enjoy. Don't go ham. You don't need to buy every single shade like I did. I kind of collect them at this point, and that's fun for me, and I like to review them for you all, but you definitely don't need every shade. Look in your collection, see what colors you already have. So yeah, those are my top 3. Those are the ones that I love. I really like this brand. I was a little bit late to the game trying it. I'm not really sure why, probably because it was so expensive, and because some of these products, I already had similar things in my collection. So I was like, why should I try the bronzer? Why should I try a cream blush? I already have a cream blush. So that's why I like to do these videos. Comment down below and let me know, what brand would you like me to do next? I did a similar one for Merit. Some of you guys are telling me you want me to do a Glossier one when that launches in Sephora. Also, sound off in those comments and let me know, what do you think about all these products? Am I completely wrong? Do you prefer some over the others? Which shades should we be trying out? Do you have any alternatives that you would recommend? I would love to know. It's totally okay if we disagree. If you like this video and you found it helpful, please let me know and give me a big thumbs up. It really helps me out. Subscribe if you haven't already. And with that, friends, I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.